The Amazon. Just hearing the name is enough to spark a sense of mystery. It's a word that makes us think of endless green jungles, thundering rivers, and wild creatures that seem pulled straight out of legends. Covering nearly 3 million square miles, the Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical rainforest in the world, stretching across 9 countries: Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. It's often nicknamed the lungs of the world, though that title is more symbolic than literal. While it's true that the Amazon produces enormous amounts of oxygen, much of it is consumed again by the forest itself. But what makes this nickname powerful is what it represents. The Amazon is essential to the health of our entire planet. Without it, the Earth's climate, biodiversity, and even human cultures would be radically different. Walking into the Amazon feels like stepping into a living cathedral. Towering trees form green pillars, sunlight filters down in golden shafts, and the air hums with the sounds of unseen creatures. Every leaf, every raindrop, and every rustle in the canopy carries a story millions of years in the making. And that's what we're about to explore. In this journey, we'll dive into the Amazon's unique climate, its breathtaking biodiversity, its fierce predators, its flooded forests, its vast rivers, its myths and sacred plants, its underwater giants, and even its hidden caves. By the end, you'll see that the Amazon is not just a forest. It's a masterpiece of nature, a treasure that belongs to all of humanity. Chapter 1: Climate and Hydrological Cycle. The Amazon is not just shaped by its trees and rivers, it's shaped by its air. Step into the rainforest, and the first thing you notice is the humidity. The air feels heavy, like a warm blanket that clings to your skin. That moisture isn't random. It's part of one of the most remarkable hydrological cycles in the world. Billions of trees act as natural pumps, releasing around 20 billion tons of water vapor into the atmosphere every single day. This vapor forms clouds, which drift, gather, and eventually release torrential rains. Then the cycle begins again. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation. It's like a never-ending heartbeat that keeps the forest alive. In the Amazon, rain doesn't just fall, it dominates life. It arrives in sudden bursts, pounding the forest floor, swelling rivers, and soaking everything in sight. Yet the forest embraces it. Roots absorb it, rivers carry it, and plants store it in leaves that drip steadily long after the storm ends. But here's a fun fact. Scientists discovered that the Amazon generates about half of its own rainfall. That means this forest is so vast and so alive that it creates the very weather it needs to survive. In fact, the water vapor from the Amazon even influences rainfall thousands of miles away, affecting climates in regions far beyond South America. This cycle isn't just local, it's global. Without the Amazon's constant release of vapor and cooling effect, temperatures around the planet would be hotter, storms more violent, and climates more unstable. The Amazon truly acts as Earth's natural thermostat. Chapter 2: Biodiversity and Canopy Life. When we think of the Amazon, we often picture its massive rivers and dark jungles. But the real action is happening above our heads, in the canopy. This leafy roof, formed by interlocking branches and vines, is a bustling city in the sky. Here lives the sloth, perhaps the Amazon's most iconic resident. Moving slowly through the trees, it spends most of its life hanging upside down. This slow pace isn't laziness, it's survival. By moving gradually, sloths avoid drawing attention from predators. Their fur even grows algae, turning them greenish and camouflaging them perfectly against leaves. Meanwhile, the canopy bursts with the colors of macaws. These parrots aren't just pretty. They're brilliant problem solvers and devoted partners. Once a macaw finds its mate, the bond often lasts a lifetime. Together they raise chicks and forage for food, flying across vast stretches of jungle with calls that can be heard miles away. Not far from them, spider monkeys swing effortlessly through branches. With long limbs and prehensile tails that act like fifth arms, they can leap distances that would leave most animals stranded. These monkeys are social and intelligent, often traveling in groups, constantly chattering and playing. And then there's the unmistakable toucan, with its oversized beak. That beak isn't just for cracking fruit. It's also a cooling system, radiating heat to regulate body temperature. Toucans are also great communicators, croaking and calling in ways that keep their flocks tightly connected. But the canopy is more than just a home for animals. It's a factory of life. Flowers bloom here, attracting insects that pollinate countless plants. Fruits ripen, feeding monkeys, birds, and bats, which in turn spread seeds far and wide. Each species plays a role in keeping this skyscraper of greenery alive. The Amazon canopy is like a grand orchestra. Each creature contributes a note, and together they create a symphony of survival. Chapter 3: Predators of the Forest. The Amazon isn't just gentle beauty, it's raw power. At the top of this hierarchy prowls the jaguar, the rainforest's ultimate predator. With its muscular build and spotted coat, the jaguar blends perfectly into the dappled shadows of the forest floor. Unlike lions or tigers, jaguars are solitary hunters. They rely on stealth, moving silently until the perfect moment to strike. And when they do, it's with a bite so strong it can pierce the skull of prey or crush the shells of armored reptiles. Jaguars are one of the few big cats that kill with a direct bite to the head, a method both brutal and efficient. But jaguars are not just hunters, they're symbols. Indigenous cultures revere them as guardians of strength and wisdom. In ancient Amazonian mythology, the jaguar often represented the bridge between the human and the spirit world, feared and respected in equal measure. Despite their ferocity, jaguars are devoted mothers. Cubs stay with them for up to 2 years, learning every skill they need to survive. How to stalk, swim, and strike with precision. Watching a young jaguar practice hunting is to witness the passing of ancient knowledge from one generation to the next. For the Amazon, jaguars are more than predators. They are regulators of balance, keeping populations of other animals in check, and ensuring the forest doesn't tip out of harmony. Without them, the ecosystem would begin to unravel. Chapter 4: The Flooded Forest, Varzea. Imagine walking through the jungle in dry season, only to return a few months later and find the same ground submerged in water. This transformation happens every year in the Amazon's Varzea, or flooded forests. Between November and March, heavy rains cause rivers to swell and spill over their banks, drowning vast stretches of jungle beneath 10 to 15 feet of water. Here, trees don't die when submerged. They adapt. Some grow special roots to anchor themselves, while others develop bark that resists rot. Plants flower and fruit in rhythm with the floods, creating a cycle of abundance for animals. The capybara, the world's largest rodent, thrives here. Living in family groups, capybaras are peaceful, grazing on aquatic plants and lounging along riverbanks. But they're never completely safe. Jaguars, caimans, and anacondas all patrol these waters. Speaking of anacondas, the flooded forests are their domain. The green anaconda, which can grow up to 30 feet long and weigh several hundred pounds, is one of the largest snakes on Earth. Despite their size, they are patient hunters. They lurk motionless in the water, waiting for prey to come close before coiling their powerful bodies around it. The flooded forests are surreal. Trees underwater, fish swimming between trunks, monkeys leaping from branch to branch over what looks like a vast lake. It's a reminder that the Amazon isn't fixed. It breathes and changes with the rhythm of the seasons, reinventing itself again and again. Chapter 5: Rivers of the Amazon. If the trees are the lungs of the forest, the rivers are its veins, carrying life, energy, and stories through the basin. The Amazon River itself is staggering in size, stretching more than 4,000 miles. It rivals the Nile for the title of the world's longest river. But when it comes to volume, the Amazon wins without contest. Every second, it pours an average of 209,000 cubic meters of water into the Atlantic Ocean. That's enough to fill more than 80 Olympic swimming pools in just 1 second. The river is so wide in places that you cannot see the opposite bank. During the wet season, it can stretch up to 30 miles across, looking more like an inland sea than a river. The Amazon is fed by more than 1,100 tributaries, and 17 of them are over 1,000 miles long. Together, they form the largest drainage system in the world. One of the most breathtaking sights along the river is the meeting of the waters near Manaus, Brazil. Here, two rivers, the dark, almost black Rio Negro and the muddy, sediment-heavy Solimões, flow side by side for miles without mixing. The contrast is striking. Black and brown waters running parallel like ribbons. The phenomenon is caused by differences in temperature, speed, and density of the two rivers. Eventually, they merge to form the mighty Amazon, but not before giving visitors a glimpse of nature's artistry. The rivers are lifelines not only for wildlife, but for millions of people. Indigenous communities and river dwellers use them for transportation, fishing, and trade. For many, the river is a supermarket, highway, and cultural hub rolled into one. And of course, these waters carry countless legends. Some speak of river spirits guiding boats to safety, while others tell of mystical creatures like the boto, or pink river dolphin, believed to transform into a handsome man at night to woo unsuspecting women. Whether fact or folklore, the rivers pulse with stories that deepen the Amazon's mystery. Chapter 6: Legends and Sacred Plants. In the Amazon, every plant, every flower, every towering tree has a story to tell. For indigenous peoples, the forest is not just a physical place, it's a spiritual one. Nature and mythology are deeply intertwined, with countless legends passed down through generations. One of the most famous stories is that of the Victoria amazonica, the giant water lily. Its leaves can grow more than 6 feet across, large enough to support the weight of a child. According to legend, a young girl once fell in love with the moon. Each night she would gaze at it from the forest, dreaming of one day becoming a star in the sky. One night she wandered too far and disappeared into the waters. The moon, moved by her longing, transformed her into the Victoria amazonica, the star of the waters. Each night, the lily's blossoms open, glowing white, then turning pink with the rising sun, as if honoring her eternal connection to the heavens. But the Amazon's sacred plants extend beyond legend. Many have powerful properties. Indigenous shamans have long used plants like ayahuasca in spiritual ceremonies, claiming they open pathways to visions and healing. Modern science has only begun to scratch the surface of the Amazon's botanical treasures. Plants here may hold cures for diseases we haven't even imagined. Another marvel is the ceiba tree, often called the tree of life. Towering above the canopy, it is sacred in many cultures, believed to connect the earth to the sky and the spiritual world beyond. Standing beneath a ceiba, with its massive trunk and sprawling branches, you feel as though you're in the presence of something ancient and wise. The legends remind us that the Amazon isn't only a biological treasure, it's a cultural one. Every leaf, every petal, every tree carries stories that tie humanity to the forest in ways science alone cannot explain. Chapter 7: Aquatic Predators and Giants. If the rivers are highways, they're also hunting grounds, teeming with creatures that inspire both fear and fascination. Take the piranha. Popular culture paints them as ruthless killers that can strip flesh from bone in seconds. While that image is exaggerated, their sharp teeth and pack behavior make them formidable predators. Interestingly, they're also scavengers and play an essential role in cleaning the rivers. For local communities, they're not monsters, they're dinner. Grilled piranha is a common meal in many Amazonian villages. Lurking along the riverbed are freshwater stingrays. With flat, disc-shaped bodies and long tails armed with venomous spines, they blend perfectly into the sandy bottom. Step on one by mistake, and you'll experience an excruciating sting. Yet, stingrays are graceful, almost hypnotic to watch, gliding like silent ghosts across the river floor. But the true giant of the Amazon's waters is the pirarucu, also known as arapaima. This prehistoric-looking fish can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh as much as 440 pounds. Unlike most fish, it breathes air, surfacing with a loud gulp every 20 minutes. Its scales are so tough that even piranhas can't bite through them. To the people of the Amazon, the pirarucu has been a vital source of food for centuries. In some festivals, its dried scales are even used to make jewelry and tools. And then there are the black caimans, cousins of These aquatic predators remind us that the Amazon isn't only about trees and monkeys. Its rivers hold a parallel world, just as rich, just as fierce, and just as vital to the balance of life. Chapter 8: Subterranean Life. As grand as the canopy and rivers may be, the Amazon also hides secrets beneath the surface. Caves and grottos, carved by water over millennia, form hidden habitats that most people never see. Inside these caverns, the air is cooler, and the light dims to shadows. Here live colonies of bats, creatures often misunderstood but absolutely essential. Every night, they emerge in clouds, consuming thousands of insects that might otherwise overwhelm the forest. Some species are fruit bats, scattering seeds far and wide, ensuring that new trees take root. In a way, bats are silent gardeners of the Amazon, planting the future one seed at a time. Insects also thrive underground. Strange beetles, crickets, and spiders adapt to the eternal darkness, some losing their eyesight altogether, relying instead on touch and vibration. Lizards and amphibians also carve out lives in these damp, shadowy spaces. For indigenous people, caves are more than homes for animals. They are sacred places. Many tribes believe they are gateways to the spirit world, passages between the living and the ancestors. Ceremonies held in caves honor the deep connection between humans, earth, and the unseen forces of nature. The subterranean world may be less dramatic than the canopy or the rivers, but it plays an essential role in the Amazon's grand design. It reminds us that life finds a way everywhere, on the surface, in the skies, in the waters, and beneath the ground. The Amazon rainforest is unlike any other place on Earth. It is a vast, living system where climate, rivers, plants, animals, and people all weave together into one extraordinary web of life. It's a place of contrasts: peaceful sloths and fearsome jaguars, delicate orchids and towering cebas, quiet bat caves and roaring rivers. It is a forest that creates its own rain, a river system that shapes continents, and a cultural treasure that holds the wisdom of countless generations. It is both fierce and fragile, powerful and vulnerable, and while it may seem eternal, it is not invincible. Standing beneath its canopy, you feel small, yet connected to something far greater than yourself. The Amazon humbles us, it challenges us, and it inspires us to respect the intricate balance that sustains not only this rainforest, but the entire planet. The Amazon is not just the lungs of the world, it is its soul. A sacred masterpiece of nature that must be cherished, protected, and remembered as one of Earth's greatest wonders.